Alright, I know it's a little on the late end, but what can you do? You got kids, you know. You got to feed them, clothe them, put them to sleep. Not in the animal sense, but, you know, they got to go to sleep. So, it's 9 o'clock. Here we go. Got a long way to go. So just remember that we have this unit circle that we need to remember how to do. This is imperative that you know how to do this if you want to move on. Okay? I know some of you won't, but still, you should graduate high school knowing the fundamentals of the unit circle. Okay? And all the trigonometric ratios and coordinates and values associated and radians. Okay? Be familiar with it. It's important. If you ever, you might not want it now, but maybe down the road, you might want to get into a technical field and say, you know what, I want to be an electrician. Or, hey, I want to be a mechanical engineer. Hey, I want to be I want to work in a Great Clips. Something you might need to know radians. Anyways, we're going to also do this review. We'll go over this as well, and then the rest of the study guide. So we got a lot to do, and I hope you're a night owl. But I'm gonna hammer through, but I'm not gonna cheapen it. All right. So, anyways, I'm gonna do a lot in this video, so this might be a longer video. We want to convert each degree measure into radians. So radians, remember, is all it is taking what used to be 360 is now in terms of pi. So 360 suddenly got changed to 180, but now we use pi for that 180. So it's a little strange, but there is actually some people in the mathematical community and the engineering community that want to change. Instead of using pi as the unit of measure for everything, that they're going to use the symbol tav. Okay? And tav means 2 pi. They don't want everything to be in terms of pi. They want tav. And so all of this stuff right here would basically, this would be pi, this would be pi over 6, or tav over 6. This equals tav over 6. And they want people to start learning it this way, which I think actually is smarter, and I think that that's the future. Maybe your kids are going to be learning this. This is completely irrelevant to your exam. I'm going to stop. Anyways, 10 degrees. 10 degrees is, we want to get rid of the degrees, so we need to have the degrees cancel out. This is called dimensional analysis. Like those that'll cancel out, and that's what we want. Okay, so what you need instead, though, is to have pi in the numerator. So with the degrees cancel out, I can focus on the numbers. Now this would be 10 over 180 if I multiplied straight across. Now pi is going to stay in the game. It'll stay there. But now that and that can cancel out because you're dividing both the numerator and denominator by 10. So therefore I have 1 over 18. All right. So next is continuing. It's the same idea. Okay, you want to find out basically what percentage of half of a circle do you want? What percentage of 180 is negative 165? Now it doesn't matter that it's negative; he'll stay negative. All right, so don't think that it needs to be positive or change in any way, as is clear by your choices here. But we know it'll be some kind of fraction of pi, so we just take 165 over 180. We got to figure out, well, what is that? So obviously 5 will go into all of it. So 5 will go into here, 5 3s, 36 times. 5 will go into here, 3 with 1 left over, 33. So 3 obviously will go into both of them, 11, and that's 12. So there you go, 11 over 12, negative in the negative direction, pi. All right, that's D. Okay, so that should be no big deal. And likewise, going backwards. Okay, going backwards, it's important. I'm going to throw a couple of these on there. And we got to be able to do this. So pi will now go in the denominator, and 180 will go in the top, so that these pi's cancel out. So pi, in a sense, is kind of a degree. Okay, it's like a way of thinking of degrees. It's fraction of the pi. All right, now 6 will actually go into 18 through 30 times. So now what we have to do is figure out what 35 times 30 is. So the 0, 15, carry the 1, that's 1,000. So, you just got to multiply 35 times 30, because 6 went into 180 30 times. Okay, so now, here we go again. Pi, nope, wrong way, 180 over pi, so that 180, these pi's need to cancel out. You don't want to introduce degrees, you want the pi's to cancel out. So 18 will go into 180 10 times. So you get 910 degrees. That's D. All right. I'm going quickly through those. That's last year's news. We want to find the AB here, and you're giving a side angle. Okay, well, a side angle falls under the category of the law of sines. All right. Now, normally I would use sine, cosine, and tangent to solve, but this is this is not a right triangle. So when you don't have a right triangle, you have the law of sines and the law of cosines, and that's all you got. So what I have here is I have the sine of B, okay, over 19. Well, you know what? No. Let's just fill in. And I do believe the first day we put sine in the denominator. So we'll do the sine of 21 degrees is related to 19 as the sine of C is related to this guy. And the sine of C is 122. All right, and we'll just give AB as an x. Okay, so what this means, we're going to cross multiply. So 19 times the sine of 122 degrees divided by the sine of 21 degrees equals x. So I multiply these two and then multiply these two, but I'm going to divide by the sine of 21 once I'm done with that. Okay, so or you could just look at it like this. This guy multiplied to this guy, get that, divide by the sine of 21, and you're going to get x by itself. Okay, that's another way to look at it. So I don't know what that is. Nobody knows unless you use a calculator, but I am going to check my mode and make sure I am in degrees, because my problem is mentioned in degrees, and it is. So I quit and I go 19 times the sine of 122. Okay, then I'm going to divide by the sine of 21. So 44.96. So we're going to round that up to 45. Okay, that's 45 miles in this case, but that's kind of irrelevant. Over here we have this is to this. All right, so we've got C and little c, and then we've got 15 over here, and we actually want to find little b, or capital B, so that means I can use the law of sines, because I have this is to this, these guys are paired up, and these guys are paired up, so I don't need the law of cosines. The law of cosines is only good for a side angle side and a side. This guy right here is an angle side. Okay, I'm going this way. It's angle side. Okay, so that is the law of, better cross that one out quickly. That is the law of sines. Okay. All right, so we're going to go the sine of 135 and 41 is directly proportional to 15. I wrote 18. Jeez, oh man, I'm so tired. 15. Man, dude, I gotta either perk up or chill. I don't know which one. Got 15 and the sine of B. Okay, so cross and multiply, and I get 41 sine B equals 15 times the sine of 135. So if I want to get sine B by itself, I need to divide by 41. Okay, so I've got 15 times the sine of, let me zoom out a little bit. Oh, we can't zoom out because I'm so close. Okay. 15 sine 135. Enter. Divide by 41. Okay. But that's not enough because that's what the sine of B equals. It's not the angle. So what I've got to do is I've got to take that 0.2587, okay, and I have to take that and actually do the second sine. So remember the inverse sign. You always have to undo sine with an inverse sign. To find an angle, you have to undo the sine, okay? Enter. That's 15 degrees. Alright, so find AC. This is side angle side. So this guy here is law of cosines. Alright, so I want to find AC, which is little b. So that means then I'm going to choose the formula b squared equals. Now I'm going to do this. I'm just going to write it out so I can type this out in my calculator. A squared. Now your notes, I'm going to assume that you have your law of sine and law of cosine notes in front of you. Plus 18 squared minus 2 times A times B times the cosine of B. Alright? Which is 123. So let's just go do that. Alright, now I'm just going to type that all in because I'm going to get a big number. You're not going to see it, but just remember you got to take the square root. So 24 squared plus 18 squared minus 2 times 24 times 18 times the cosine. I didn't really have to put that. Cosine of. Okay, now, oops. That's what I typed in exactly as I wrote it there, and I need to take the square root of that guy, so I'll go second square root. 37 degrees, or 37 miles. Okay. Alright, now this guy was a little tricky. This guy, you had to find angle B, but the problem is that it's super close to being an isosceles triangle, then that would have been sweet, but it's not. So what we got to do is we have to use the side angle side. We have to use law of cosine to find him. And once we find him, we can use the law of sines. So this is kind of a tag team thing. So to do that, we have to go little a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2 times b times c cosine 54. Alright, that's going to give us this guy. I hate to do this calculator punching with a video. You should not be watching me do this. Unfortunately, it's necessary. Alright, nope, you can't even see it, and that's even worse. Okay, so now you've got this. Now we want the square root of this guy. So the square root is 25. Okay, so this means that right there is 25. Now you will not see 25 there because notice it's in degrees. We're trying to find B. So now there's only going to be one of these on the test. Now of all these four, there's only going to be one one of these and one of the law of sines. So, keep that in mind. So with that, then we have 25. So the sine, nope, no. We said sine of 54 is related to the lowercase a, capital A, equals this guy under 27. So, man, this is a long video. All right, this will be the last one for this one. So then we've got the 27 sine 54 after we cross multiply equals 25 sine B. So I divide both sides by 25. Okay, so sine B equals this guy. All right. So awesome. Okay, but that is not what I'm after. I want the arc sine of this, or the inverse sine. So the inverse sine of this is second sine of that, and that's 61 degrees. Okay, so that's E. All right, stop here. It's a long video.